Hello and welcome back to Inversion Addicts. Today we're going to be taking a look at the history and future of the UK's only ever stand-up coaster, Shockwave over at Drayton Manor. So let's get into it. Shockwave opened to the public in 1994, contributing to the fabled coaster wars, of course involving Nemesis over at Alton Towers and the big one over at Pleasure Beach. Drayton Manor were trying to establish their name in the realm of UK theme parks, and by introducing known at the time as 7-Up Shockwave, and still to this day the UK's only stand-up coaster, was sure to keep Drayton Manor's name relevant amongst the incredible coasters being built around the country. Upon its opening, the ride sported an unsavoury brown support paired with a grey track, and whilst apparently being sponsored by 7-Up, showed no apparent branding in its colour scheme. The ride went through another unfortunate colour change, as you can see here, before Drayton Manor woke up and painted it a decent colour, blue track paired with a turquoise support. I mean, thank God. Shockwave stands at a height of 119 feet, that's 36.5 metres, and features a first drop of 105 feet, that's 32 metres. The ride features 4 inversions, a vertical loop, 2 corkscrews, and still to this day the only 0G roll ever to feature on a stand-up coaster. Now that's bragging rights. The early marketing for the ride painted a picture of Shockwave being a cool, one-off roller coaster experience, which was aimed at an older thrill-seeking market, of course heavily relying on the unique stand-up element of this brand new roller coaster, as you can clearly see in this original 1994 TV advert.
If you think you can take it, stand up. Shockwave, only at Drayton Manor.
Very cool. The ride was originally designed by Werner Stengel and sold and supplied by Intamin Amusement Rides, despite the ride actually being technically designed and manufactured by Giovanola. The ride's often misconceived as an original B&M due to that iconic box section track design. This is mainly due to the fact Bolliger and Mabillard were actually working for Giovanola at the time. Sneaky, sneaky. The two of course later went on to form the legendary Bolliger and Mabillard, arguably the world's most iconic roller coaster manufacturer, but that's a tale for another time. So there it is, stood in all its glory for almost 30 years, and with all due respect, the ride's beginning to show its age. When I was last down at Drayton Manor just a couple of weeks back, in September 2022, the ride was borderline enjoyable with a very limited re-rideability. And it got me thinking, what could be in store for this iconic coaster? Now personally, I think there's a couple of different ways Drayton Manor could play it with this one. I think it's very unlikely that we'll see any kind of retrack work like we've seen over at Nemesis at Alton Towers, but I do think the ride's due some new trains, but I don't think they're going to be stand-up. There's been plenty of grumbles within the community, and I've recently heard from some pretty solid sources that Shockwave is to receive some sit-down trains within the next season or two. And of course, that's great news, but for me it doesn't solve the long-term problem that Shockwave's an aging ride, and surely it's coming towards the end of its service life. Now for me, if you look at the direction of the park within the last couple of seasons, especially with the addition of the Vikings area, the removal of G-Force, and of course the ever-growing grumbles about the removal of Apocalypse at the end of the season, we're looking at a very family-friendly park. Now, does Shockwave, this stand-up, aging, intense roller coaster, really fit into that kind of park? I don't think so. So in my humble opinion, I feel like the future of Shockwave looks a little bit like this. We'll continue to see the stand-up option until the end of the 2022 season, and before the start of the 2023 season, I believe we'll see an announcement of sit-down trains coming to Shockwave. I reckon that'll last a couple of years, and then eventually the removal will begin for something like a family Vekoma invert, or potentially a Mack family spinner. I think Drayton Manor's quickly becoming a fantastic theme park for early thrill seekers, and from previous experience, those kind of coasters for me are the perfect stepping stone from family coaster to white knuckle ride. I guess only time will tell. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the matter. What are your thoughts on Drayton Manor's Shockwave? And what would you like to see happen to it in the future? Let me know in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching, I'm Lee from Inversion Addicts, and until next time, take care.